Oh,
All right, we are now live. Hello.
we are live.
We're live.
Mafa elections round 2.
Woo! Shall we introduce ourselves?
Sure.
Who wants to start? Start.
Okay, I'm Jessica,
Yeah.
co-outreach chair for the 2019 school year. Popcorn. Okay, I'm Jessica, co-outreach chair. Who's delayed? Because I can hear it.
Oh, that was the YouTube live. Don't worry, I muted it.
Oh, okay.
Right, popcorn?
Co-outreach chair. Cole, you can go.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary, outreach chair. I go to UMich Ann Arbor. This is Yuki, my dog.
Hi, Yuki.
Okay, he's gonna go away now. Heather, you go.
Hi, I'm Heather, and I'm your treasurer for now. Francis.
Well, Francis, I am the past media master, and I just graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And yeah, that's it. Join Sarah.
Sarah, you're so quiet.
Can't hear you, Sarah.
Can you hear me? Wait, is it working now?
You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I just graduated from Marquette University. So, yeah. Who didn't go? Rio?
Yup. I didn't go. Hi, I'm Rio. I am getting my master's of human resources management from the High School University, and I am the vice president internal for Mafa. So, yeah. When's the first person supposed to be here?
7:10. I already messaged her.
7:10.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have. Just getting the icebreakers now. You want to do that? We can just sit here and stare at each other too. It's fine. I mean,
Yeah, let's do some icebreakers.
All right.
Also, for those who are watching, if you guys have any questions for us, feel free to send us any messages. We'll do shout outs or whatever you like, if it's appropriate.
Sure. Okay. Francis, you want to start one?
Sure.
But I'll let you pick a category and I'll pick what it is.
Okay. Do you want to do a would you rather?
Okay. We can do that.
Or let's see. What have we done yet? Okay. Would you rather have to crab walk everywhere or have to walk on all four legs like a dog?
Just make somebody answer, Francis. Choose someone.
Let's have Jessica.
I think I'd rather walk like a dog. I feel like crab walking is just like way too much effort. There's like more effort exerted than opposed to walking like a dog. And I'm not about exerting effort.
That's fair.
Yeah.
My wrists would hurt.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I feel like I kind of want to do the crab walk though.
I can see you do that.
I don't know. I think because that way I don't have to bend my neck up as much to talk to people, right? I'd just be like looking straight up at them. And then it's also just, I don't know, it's weirder. So it's more of a flex. So it's like, you know.
Wouldn't it just be for transportation purposes? Like once you get there, you can stand up and talk?
I guess so.
That's true.
I guess. Well, then the crab walk is cleaner. It's because you're just using your feet and your hands. But if you're doing a dog thing, you'd be on your knees too, and you'd mess up your whole half pant leg or your
Well,
leg.
Are you on your knees though?
I thought you were on your feet and your hands.
Oh, you're like that.
That's what I was picturing.
Oh, I thought it'd be. I don't know.
I don't know.
What is the proper way to walk up a dog?
I don't know.
Are you Googling it?
Oh, we could do it. You want to do another question then? Jess? Jess.
Yeah, give me a hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Rio or anyone.
Cool.
Would you rather be forced to dab whenever you cry or be forced to whoa whenever you're scared? What the-
Oh man.
That's an
I
interesting
think-
question.
I think I would dab when I cry. It's just like underneath there, tears.
Do you have to continually dab when you're crying for the duration of the cry?
Well, I mean, the way that I dab, there's like there's an inherent like vibration movement. It's like one of those.
So it would be doing that for like the whole cry.
Yeah, yeah.
So then, would you also be woeing the entire time you're scared?
But then
Well, I was thinking for that one, it would just be kind of one time, you know. Unless, what, would it be a really slow one? Or like, or just be like, you have to keep doing it because you're so scared.
so if that were the case, which one would you rather do then?
I would dab for sure. I like a good dab. I would definitely I'm all about that one. Also, you wipe your tears as well with that. You don't have to do that.
Beautiful.
Okay. So what's the next one? You guys want to do first impressions?
Ooh.
Ooh, sure.
Okay. Let's see. Because I'm trying to think of somebody who didn't know each other before we did this. Sarah, what was your first impression of Mary?
She wouldn't have one.
Louder.
I just wanted to hold her.
Wait, what did you say?
I just heard someone to hold you.
I said she was baby. But
When
now
was that? Was that retreat or was that
it's like a
summer LR
transition.
transitions?
So yeah, she was so. Now she's like this strong, independent woman. I'm just like, wow. Okay. Do I have popcorn?
Yeah, you can do someone else.
Oh. Okay. Hmm. Do Mary's first impression of Rio.
Oh man, this was before Mafa board.
Okay. My first impression of Rio. I think I remember meeting you at the Cedar Point trip in Toledo. Back when we were Mafa reps, like that was like our first like.
You're right. That was actually the first time. Yeah, I was thinking about Umish back in 2017. I don't know. There was a time you guys hosted us, and it was really fun.
Oh yeah, that was like the second time I like saw you or whatever. But Yeah, the first time I met you, I remember like you were really like good at like speaking, I guess. It was like very easy to talk to you. You were really cool, really chill. Uh, I remember you talking about like how you were impressed by our PCN. Um,
I was, yeah.
I don't remember what you said, but that's all I remember.
No, I don't know. I always like going to Foss's PCN. I thought it was such a really well done event, and I always just had such a good time whenever I went there. It was like whoever hosted me was like really fun and super welcoming. It was good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my first impression
All
of
right.
you.
All right. Should I choose someone or should you choose one? We can switch it up. You can do a different prompt. You do something.
What are the prompts?
You do like the would you rather. We're running out of would you rathers. We can think of some superlatives off the top too. You guys have any ideas for that?
Oh, I had one that it left my mind.
Hmm.
Dang it.
We'll just keep that. We'll just think about it for later. What about? You guys want to do a serious one? We're kind of moving towards that, anyways. Let's do. Let's do a reflection on MFAS for Heather. Is Heather frozen?
No.
She's here. Okay.
Oh, is that when we did our? What was our question?
Just like anything about MFAS that you want to reflect about. Anything.
Okay. I think that it was a good experience for all of us. It was a lot of learning how to deal with last minute things. I think that we learned a lot about ourselves and our management styles and how we deal with crises. And it was interesting seeing, having those conversations with past Mafa board to see their visions of what they thought Mafa would be like. It was refreshing to hear from the first president that he was really proud of us and that he was glad that we were able to reconnect all of the first Mafa board. So I think that was a nice pat on the back for this year. Not to like toot our own horn or anything, but it was a good learning experience, and I'm very proud of us for pulling that off. So also, yeah, it was a good. I liked our activities that we had for our quack too. It was fun.
Yeah. I feel like Heather had a big part in like basically all the activities that we did at like our events. You were always like had good ideas for stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I always executed them well. When I didn't know how to say what I wanted to say in my head, I think you were able to express those things. So thank you, brother.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. That was, I think for me, that was always my favorite parts of like one of my favorite parts of like Mafa events like that. Oh, hey, Kelly. Hello.
Hi, Kelly.
You guys can hear me okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So I guess we can get right into it. Are you feeling good, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm good.
Ready to go? Okay. So I'll just explain a little bit about how it's going to work. Each candidate's you're gonna have 5 minutes to basically speak and just present about why you're kind of fit for the role that you're going for. And then after that 5 minutes, we'll do like a 5-minute Q&A. So we have some questions prepared for you. And then at the end of that, you're free to ask us any questions that you might have as well. To help you with the time, Mary's got the cards. Mary's going to be like flashing up signs on like 2 minutes or what do you have? 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Yeah, so I would suggest maybe putting your screen on Mary or something as you're talking so that you can keep track of that. Yeah, so I think whenever you want to get started, you can just, you know, start your speech, I guess.
Okay, perfect. Okay, guys. Hello, my name is Kelly Nisnisan, and I am running for the co-outreach chair position. I'm originally from Gurnee, Illinois, which is north of Chicago, but I do attend the University of Kentucky. As of fall 2019, I am going to be a fourth-year student and switching my major to human health science, pre-physical therapy. Previously, I was a mechanical engineering major. Coming to the University of Kentucky, I'd experienced reverse culture shock. I grew up in an area that was quite diverse and had a strong Filipino community. I grew up hanging out with my family, the family friends that I called my cousins, my titos, my titas, etc., and had so many different friends of different backgrounds that I had met in school. Going to UK, it is a PWI. I went into this university my freshman year well aware of this, but I did not know how much this would affect me. I started to feel distant from my culture, which was something I've never experienced before. I started to feel reconnected at my university once I found FASA, the Filipino American Student Organization. I have met so many people, especially my best friends, through this organization. With FASA, I have held 3 different leadership positions. I have been FASA's cultural chair, vice president internal, as well as FASA's past stand-in president. With these positions I have held, I feel that I have a good amount of leadership experience to becoming Mafa's co-outreach chair. As FASA has been growing, I have learned many useful skills that I believe I will be able to apply on the Mafa executive board. One major thing I learned was how to recruit and what makes people stay active. Through receiving different feedback and much trial and error, I have been able to hear from others and continue implementing all the positives. I would continue implementing these skills like talking to some people one-on-one, incorporating the Filipino culture in some way through these activities and conversations, and much more. Overall, I have also learned how to delegate, and when given some kind of delegations, to execute it to the best of my ability and ask questions when needed. Lastly, the most effective and major thing I have learned is the importance of feedback. It has been the key to being successful in my organization because not everyone has the same opinions, and learning from their perspectives has been helpful with our growth. If I become a co-outreach chair, I understand that my main responsibilities are to communicate with the Mafa representatives across the Midwest and be the main director for Mafa families. I would have one-on-one meetings with each representative and Mafa family head just to get to know them if I already don't, and introduce myself as well to them since I would be working closely with them. Getting to know someone on a one-on-one basis helps me understand how to communicate with them because not everyone has the same humor, interests, so learning to cater to each person is crucial to strong communication. Something outside of my position that I would love to implement is creating an alumni network/association. Mafa has been around for 10 strong years, and the reason why it has stayed for that long is due to our alumni. Through some of them, though some of them are still connected, it would be nice to have them stay connected with us for as long as Mafa is alive, as well as formally invite them back to Mafa-related events. Creating this network would also help benefit Mafa for finding keynote speakers for events, feedback, and helping out members if they need connections for jobs, internships, etc. This can also help benefit Mafa financially by creating annual dues for association members, contributions received from association members, or possibly even association-sponsored scholarships. Another thing I would like to add is that I have been branching out within the Mafa sphere and creating so many new connections with people across the Midwest. Also, I was in the leadership cohort this past semester working under summer, so I feel that I do have enough experience to hold an executive board position. Also, I have cut down on my credit hours, which is down to 12 right now instead of 16, and will not be holding any other leadership positions this upcoming academic year. So I feel that I will be able to dedicate more time to this position. With that being said, Mafa has became a strong influence in my college career. The community has helped me become even more proud to be a daughter of 2 immigrant parents from the Philippines. They have taught me about the culture, but Mafa has really helped me to become proud of my culture. I hope to become Mafa's next co-outreach chair. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Good job on the speech, Kelly.
Thank you.
So guess to move forward, me and Mary just have a couple of questions for you as we were the past outreach chairs. My first question is balancing one executive board position in itself is already a lot, and we noticed in your application that you indicated you're a part of another organization that requires a lot of commitment. How will you assure that you are able to balance your roles in both organizations without putting another one in jeopardy?
A major thing that I've learned throughout my college career is time management. So I would definitely, the way that I do time management is that I have a planner that actually goes hour by hour. And so I always plan a week ahead of time. So I make sure that it is tentative, but I do try my best to follow it. And for the most part, I do. And for certain things, like for my schoolwork, I'll put in, let's say, 30 hours for schoolwork. And then I'll say I'll put in like 10 to 12 hours for executive board position stuff. And then for Mafa stuff, I would also put in maybe about 10 to 12 hours per week. And if so, I know that some weeks are going to be more busier than others, then I'll put in the allotted time needed.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead with the next question. From previous years, most elected outreach chairs had experience as an external position before Mafa board. Considering you played more of an internal role in FASO, how do you think your experience correlates with the position of outreach, and how are you able to adapt to a more external role?
So I feel that between internal and external, the only difference is networking within like at least in our school is networking within your school, and then networking out of your school. I feel that I have actually been able to network out of my school very well, and I feel that just like the biggest thing with internal and external is communicating, and just being able to get to know people. It's just the difference is being within like just different parts, like within the school and then outside.
Thank you. I guess we have time for one more question. So co-outreach remains this pretty unique position on Mafa board as you are given someone to work on projects with at all times. How will you make sure that neither one of you are doing too much or doing too little, and how will you hold one another accountable for the tasks that you do?
So if I do become co-outreach, and with my co, we would definitely, or at least I would try to work out with them, like we would write down what needs to be get done, and then try to split out the work evenly. If one of us is more busier than the other, then I will try my best to accommodate to their schedule, and I would hope that they would try their best to accommodate to my schedule, because I feel that school is our number one priority. And that, so school is our number one priority, but to ensure that we don't jeopardize like this position, because I feel that if we do sign up for this position, then we have to remember like, hey, this is our main priority, and maybe just like kind of sit down and talk professionally like adults, like, hey, this needs to be done by this time. And then again, just like time management, I feel like is also a major thing in communication.
Thank you. Did any of you other board members have a question for Kelly? Or is there anything that someone sent in?
We have no further questions from the audience.
Okay. Well, if not, then I think you're good. Thank you, Kelly. Good job.
Do you have any questions for us, Kelly?
Yeah.
As of now, no, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Well, yeah, great job. Thanks for your time, and yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good one, Kelly.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Nice.
Next one.
Kyle.
Kyle. Tatad.
His camera isn't working, but that's okay. We can still hear him fine.
Mm-hmm.
His computer camera's not working?
Yeah, I don't know what. He was testing it earlier today.
He could use his phone as a camera and then his laptop as a speaker if he wants. I do that all the time for meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I got a new computer, so.
It's fine. I don't know. It might be a little bit weird trying to film himself. Wow. Maybe that won't be too weird. I don't know. You think we have time for a couple little prompts? Give the people what they want. People are on the edge of their seats with the questions we have,
What do the people want? Let us know, audience.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's watching.
I'm gonna get some
We have 16 people watching.
Oh,
including-
okay. Okay.
I'm gonna get some coffee. Be right back.
Bye, Patty.
Patty.
Oh man, we have a serious would you rather left. It's the only one that's left.
Do it.
All right.
Legit.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna randomize this somehow. Okay. Just pick a number between 1 and 6. 3, 1. Mary, what are you?
2.
2. Sarah? 4. Heather, pick a number between 1 and 6.
6.
6. Okay. I guess I'm, what am I, 5?
Yeah, you're 5.
All right, cool.
What is this?
6. All right. Heather's the lucky winner. Would you rather fall in love and lose it or never have fallen in love at all? Wow.
That's a question.
What's the duration of me being in love?
Wait, what's that?
What's the duration of me being in love?
It's less time and more like feeling. It's like you're in it.
You said that I would fall in love and then lose it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm able to love again afterwards?
That's up to you. Just leave the prompt.
I'll do that.
That's a different question. Okay. Is that it? You're just down, just no explanation why, just like that's it.
Builds character. I think we can all learn from it.
Yeah.
I think everyone loses it at one point. Shout out to people who married their high school sweethearts, but that's not me. So.
Yeah, you could like write a cool song about it after, maybe get famous. I don't know.
Right. Well, thank you.
You can bounce that question off to another person if you want while we wait for Kyle to join.
I think I want to open that up to the rest of the board because it's a very thought-provoking question.
Choose someone.
Hey, what was it again?
The question is, would you rather fall in love and lose it, or would you have never have fallen in love at all? Or what does it not be capable of love? Is that what you said?
I think it's like a specific situation.
Kyle, your camera works.
Kyle's here.
No, I just use my phone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
we
he
were
was
just talking
listening.
about that.
He was one of the 16 viewers. Can you adjust your camera? I can only see the top of your head. There you go. There he is.
You want that?
Yes, Kyle.
I want the whole thing. There it is. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's get it started. Okay. So the way this is going to work is you'll have 5 minutes to speak. Good luck. And then we'll have 5 minutes to do a Q&A afterwards. And yeah, at the end of that, you'll be able to ask us any questions that you might have as well. So Mary, are you ready with the cards? Cool. Yeah. In case I'm not sure if you were listening earlier, but yeah, you can look at Mary's. Yeah, she got the time cards for you, so you'll know when you need to cut things off. Okay, you can start whenever you want to.
Okay. Hi, Mafa board. Hello, Mafa. For those of you in Mafa who don't know me, my name is Tatad. I am a recent alumni from Ohio State University. I was majoring in animal science. And today I'm going to be running for the co-outreach position. So I want to say that my heavy involvement in Filipino culture began around in like 3rd grade. My grandparents and parents are actually the founders of NOFA, Northwest Ohio Filipino American Association. And so because of their involvement in founding of that organization, they kind of pushed me to do a lot of involvement in my Filipino culture. So ever since 3rd grade, I've been doing a lot of things like dancing Filipino dances. I did Sinkil, Tinikling, Sayo sa Bangko, and also going to just Filipino celebrations like Christmas and Easter and stuff like that. So that continued on up till high school. And going into college, my involvement in my Filipino culture and love for it grew even more just by joining OSU PSA. The organization really became like a second family to me. I grew really close to the members in there. And through that organization, I began getting more involved in Mafa. This past year, I was a Mafa rep for our org, and I also was the MAFAM head for FireFam. So getting more involved in Mafa, my second family grew even more, and it spread all throughout the Midwest. And like learning from my parents and the rest of my family, I grew more into myself and learned more about our culture. And I learned more from all the people in Mafa and all the people in my OSU org. And so this past MFAS, one of the speakers said, "You're not done being Filipino when you leave college." And that kind of struck a chord in me, especially because I'm graduating. And so what I really wanted to do is just continue my involvement in Mafa and help inspire the self-growth and love of our culture that I gained from Mafa. So I think that the leadership skills from involvement on camp organizations like OSU PSA and being a peer leader for my college, and just for a little more explanation, being a peer leader for my college means that I basically just helped incoming freshmen transition into their first year in college. So I'd show them around campus, teach them works of scheduling, show them important like resources like the medical building, stuff like that. The communications and networking skills I've gained from these organizations, and as well as just being in internships and working with people from different backgrounds and different ideologies, and the prioritization and time management skills I've learned from having to juggle school and internship and extracurriculars. I think that I can bring a lot to this organization as well as thriving in this position. So one of the big things that I really want to do in my position that it's kind of not related to this position is I wanted to set up some form of queer group within the Mafa community. Ever since being in Mafa, I don't think there's actually been something like this, at least not that I know of. I know there's not fast, but not like set coalition. Not only for our community, issue community, but I also think it'd be very beneficial to non-queer identifying individuals to just sit in and like listen to our issues and just learn how to be better allies. And then a goal more specific to my position, should I get it, is to set up monthly MAFAM head meetings. This is something that we did with Mafa reps, and I honestly it helped me a lot in my position because I could hear other concerns from other Mafa reps, and we could just bounce ideas off of each other, as well as just seeing Mary and Jess and get info and updates from them helped a lot. And I think that having these monthly MAFAM head meetings for our fam heads would help them bond more amongst each other, as well as get them more involved and help them like bounce ideas off in similar ways, and as well as for them to have a place to voice any concerns and updates.
Cool. Is that all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, great job, Kyle. Mary, do you want to take this Q&A section, or did you want me to run that?
I don't know. Jessica, did you want to start, or should I start?
You can start with the question. I'll go after.
Okay. Good job in your speech, Kyle. Okay, first question. Considering that you may be elected with the co this round, whether you know them or not, how well would you work with another person and communicate effectively to share tasks between the two of you and keep each other accountable for those tasks?
Oh, I think one of my biggest strengths as a person is being a team player. I'm very big on communicating, especially just experiences from being involved in this past year's board with 10 other individuals with different ideas and methods of executing said ideas, and just working, like I said earlier in my speech, just working with a bunch of different people. Like when I was in Thailand with my volunteer experience, just working with people from different parts of the world. I think that I have a very good method of just trying to not only take away my own personal biases and just trying to understand where they're coming from and communicate things and try and just be on a level playing field where we're both equals and trying to figure out things in a compromising way.
Thank you. We have a couple more questions. So how do you feel your past experience as Mafa rep and Ma family head benefit you in the event that you are voted in as outreach chair?
I think that the connections that I have from being MAFAM head and MAFO rep can kind of set a good basis for me for, I know that this position is a lot of networking and a lot of knowing other people's throughout other schools and throughout MAFA. So I think that being in those positions, the connections that I've made in them can help me expand further upon them, as well as, like I said earlier, the communication skills that I've had from working with other MAFA reps and such can help me just effectively and network better.
Okay, I think that's the last question. As a recent graduate of the Ohio State University, how do you plan to manage your time between your career and MAFA?
So this upcoming year, I'll just be taking it more relaxed. I'm just going to be having a job and then also applying for vet school in the fall and seeing where that goes. So my workload won't be too much. Besides that, the only other thing that I will have on my plate is this MAFA executive board position should I get it. So after having to juggle my internship as well as studying for school and all the projects and having to help organize and facilitate all the external kind of facets of Barrio, especially during the time leading up to FACT, as Barrio was like 2 or 3 weeks before that. That was a pretty stressful time for me, and I think from that experience I learned a lot about how to prioritize and time management and just setting time aside specifically for my studies and for anything my internship should need, and then as well as anything that I need to do as MAFA rep and MAFAM head.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the audience, Heather? No. Any questions from the rest of you guys? Kyle, do you have any questions for us?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, thank you then. Your time is up. So if you don't have anything else, you're free to go. Have a good night.
All
Good
right.
job. Thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Bye, Kyle.
Okay.
All right. Next one's at 8:50.
We have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Has anyone thought of a cool superlative? Let me try to think of one.
Biggest fan girl.
Yeah.
I wonder.
We already know.
It's Sarah.
That's
Most likely to have a hidden talent.
Heather.
Heather, yeah.
Literally, I swear, she's my best friend, but I still feel like there's things I don't know about her. Can you do your trumpet thing?
She's hiding it from herself.
My what?
You trumpet?
Trumpet.
I don't even think that would sound good on air. Like,
Okay, fair enough.
You never know. Try it.
We'll let you know. Try it.
Do it.
That's so cool.
really?
That
Yes,
is so cool.
it sounds good.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Usually you don't compliment me, so this is new.
True.
Okay, what else?
Person you'd want to be stuck with on an island.
And why?
Yeah.
Like out of just us here, anyone on board?
Anyone on board.
May. I just feel like she's very strategic.
Yeah.
And
Oh, she'd get off that island.
yeah,
for
she
sure.
would know how to get off.
She'd survive. Yeah.
I feel like if I was with like Randall, he would just start screaming for like no reason.
He'd be wearing his cross on the island.
I think if we had to like meet someone on the island in Francis,
Oh yeah, dude.
Wait, can you repeat that?
What?
First,
If you would eat someone off the island?
I would eat Francis.
What are you saying, Heather? What do you mean?
No, those questions where if you had to eat someone on board, like on an island.
I mean, I would
All right, how about this? How about this? Most likely to die first in a horror movie.
Francis.
Off board.
wait, why Francis?
I mean, I feel like I almost got killed today.
I think it'd be Sarah. I think Sarah would die first.
I don't think so.
And she'd be like seeing the creepy stuff, and she'd just walk towards it, like, oh, this is cool.
True.
Like, and then she'd die.
I feel like the creepy thing would like defend her though, and wouldn't kill her.
Maybe she might. First person to kill someone in a horror movie might be Sarah. Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Perfect.
I'll die first to protect y'all.
I like that. I
Also,
like that.
how about class clown?
That's clown. Jeez. Could be anyone, right?
I think we're all funny.
Is it funny if I
This
was-
board's full of clowns.
I think it's Rio because he's the most quotes in the quote book.
He has the most quotes.
True. He's very woke.
No. It's just the one-liners and the Tito jokes. It's not.
And the finger thing.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Well, I had another good one. Oh, jeez. Okay. Most likely. Okay. Most likely to be wearing the most expensive outfit.
Randall.
Randall. Okay.
The boy just want to like.
I could see that. Another superlative.
Most likely to be in a mama meeting.
Most likely to what?
What?
In a Mafa board meeting.
Most likely to.
What?
Oh, most likely to be eating during a Mafa.
Oh, Mary.
Eating. You.
I feel like it'd be real too.
You.
Mary, you're eating a lot. You're eating.
Wait,
Enjoy
no.
eating.
Most likely to be at the gym during a Mafa board meeting. Do you guys
Randall.
Time.
Oh my
It was me at the
god.
gym at the election
Wow.
Yeah, that was dedication though. Shout out.
Most likely to cry during a Mafa event. This might be a tough one. This might be a tough one.
It depends. What,
All right, most
Yeah.
likely to cry during, like not during after set. No, not after. No, not that. I meant the variety show.
I would
Not
cry
a-
during a
not a-
happy I would.
That's not a thing. I meant variety show.
Like emotionally.
Oh, Krista.
Krista. Hi, Krista.
Hello.
Hello. Oh yeah. Hi.
Hi.
How's it
You know
going?
my Wi-Fi is a little bit booty at times because it's pretty booty out here.
I think we'll be good.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
You seem fine. Seems to me.
Good sound.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna explain just real briefly. I'm not sure if you've heard already, but you'll have 5 minutes to speak, followed by a 5-minute Q&A section from us, and then yeah, we'll take questions from the audience as well. And then at the end of all that, you'll have the opportunity to ask us any questions that you might have before you leave. Mary will have cards to hold up to help you with the time. So she'll flash cards at 2 minutes and 1 minute. So if you want to maybe like put your screen onto her so that you can help you keep track of the time, she'll be keeping track of that for us. Yeah, if you don't have any questions before you start, you can just go at any time. Just start your speech.
Okay. So good evening, Mafa Executive Board and Mafa members. My name is Krista Casuga, and I'm a rising junior studying public relations at Marquette University. Today, I stand before you all, running as a candidate for Mafa's 2019 to 2020 Events Coordinator. Through this position, I hope to make an impact and meet the needs of the various organizations within the community. Throughout the past school year, I was given the opportunity to hold 2 leadership positions within Marquette's By Nihon student organization. I was both the cultural show coordinator and a Battle of the Bamboo coordinator. With these positions, I was expected to plan, organize, and facilitate By Nihon's annual cultural show while conducting research and choreographing By Nihon's battle piece. Through these experiences, I gained valuable leadership skills that will prove to be essential as a potential events coordinator. For example, working on both cultural show and Battle of the Bamboo in the same semester taught me how to be mindful of my time, set strict deadlines, and uphold them. In addition, I maintained logs of emails, event confirmation orders, meeting minutes, and created a multitude of spreadsheets to stay organized. This skill is crucial for this position as one will be receiving a high volume of information from schools hosting events. The use of spreadsheets and meeting minutes can help avoid confusion amongst parties and streamline the planning process. As a potential events coordinator, I would like to implement new ideas while maintaining concepts that were put in place by those who previously held this position. For instance, I would like to maintain meetings with host schools, whether it be weekly or bi-weekly, to provide feedback and become a resource. As a member of BSO, I had the opportunity to talk with some of the previous MFAS coordinators and see what worked well and what didn't. They stated how these meetings helped them during the process as they were able to update the Mafa Executive Board, connect to Mafa alum and professors, and receive feedback. Likewise, I would like to propose the idea of being more proactive in either the summer or fall semester, depending on the time of the event. For example, both the host school of MFAS and I can start our meetings in the fall semester to help the planning process run as smoothly as possible. By transitioning into an earlier work schedule, this will allow for the host school and I to fine-tune events while ensuring that the weeks leading up will be less hectic. However, I understand that the idea can be difficult to carry out. In addition, I would like to maintain what Megan already has in place with promoting cultural topics and facilitating discussions. One discussion I found particularly interesting was the debate on when Filipino Independence Day was. I believe by maintaining these discussions, it can show different perspectives and allow people to gain new insights. Moreover, it will help promote the Filipinx culture and Asian American awareness as outlined in the Mafa Constitution. However, I would like to find new ways to promote mental health in the AAPI community. The current Mafa Executive Board did a good job promoting this topic by hosting roundtables discussing mental health, raising funds and spreading awareness for the National Alliance of Mental Awareness Organization, and dedicating blog posts to this issue. This is an issue I struggle with myself and would like to further explore with more open discussions while providing resources for people. For example, I would like to introduce Mafa to apps such as Calm, and Headspace that can aid members who struggle with these issues. With the mentality of staying strong and not appearing weak running rampant in Asian households, I would like to be there for the Mafa community and be a person that one can confide in. In addition, I would like to speak about my own stories in mental health that can give someone reassurance and comfort. While I am running for the position of events coordinator, I would like to create a safe space for anyone to feel welcomed in addition to my duties. During the event planning process, it is possible that conflicts concerning various issues could arise. As stated in my application, if communication, a lack of attendance, or financial issues were to become a problem, I would call for an immediate meeting and work to solve it as soon as possible. It is important to note that there should be no blame placed on anyone, as there could be fault from both parties. In addition, this could avoid a hostile environment from being formed, which would hinder the planning process. For specific issues such as a lack of money, I would work with the host schools to plan fundraisers both within their campus and in the Mafa community. Likewise, I would like to create and edit personal video invitations for organizations to promote attendance. By doing this, both the host school and I can become personable and allow for relationships to form. All in all, Mafa has helped me make some lifelong friends and strengthen my cultural identity. I would like to thank the Mafa Executive Board and the Mafa community for giving me this opportunity to run as a potential events coordinator. Again, my name is Krista Casuga, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, Krista.
Thank
Great
you.
job on your speech. So I guess we'll get into the Q&A. First question I have for you is, what was the biggest lesson that you've learned from being battle coordinator this year? And if you could do anything differently, what would you do, and what would you have done and why?
The biggest lesson I learned from being battle coordinator, I guess, is delegating between the two co's and I feel like definitely we did do a really good job with it, but like I felt like for myself, I was struggling with both cultural show and battle, that I like did not find time for myself, which is like a big thing that I learned throughout the year is that like, I don't know, trying to take a step back and like you realize that you have two other people to work with. I know in this position, there's like not as many people, like it's just me, but like we have like all the Mafa board and there's people who would be willing to help me that I can take a step back and not necessarily like neglect my duties, but like take a time for myself and like focus on my mental health. Whereas like, I don't know, I feel like I took on a lot of work, I guess, during the battle and cultural show aspect. Sorry, I like combined the two together instead of just focusing on battle, my bad. If there was one thing I could like change, I definitely would have like taken a step back when I didn't think things were fun. Like for a lot of the time, I felt like I was doing things just out of like the motion and stuff like that. Like I was obligated to do it. But then like when I took a step back and realized like, yeah, like I'm doing this for my community. I'm doing this to represent my culture. I'm doing this to like lead like 59 other people and like, I guess like be a bigger part of like both the Mafa community and BSO. It made me realize that like, yeah, like it's not just out of obligation, but it's honestly like a fun experience. And that like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like rambling, but yeah.
Okay, next question. Could you provide more details about how you organized the BSO? Specifically, how have you communicated in collaboration with other student, educational, and/or professional organizations?
Okay, so with BSO's culture show, we had to work with Late Night Marquette and Marquette's student organizer government. And what we did was like we set up meetings with them multiple times to get like ideas like connected. Like our initial meeting was just talking about like what we wanted to do, what we wanted in our reception, where it was talking about like catering order, what our like timeline looked like. And it was like just getting like the, I guess like stepping stones and like the foundation set up for it. Our like main concern while planning was like getting enough funding for it. So we also reached out to our event coordinator, Mary Kate, who connected us to Sodexo and allowed us to get like $500. And then our catering order was like pretty expensive, so we also reached back to like our partnerships with Late Night Marquette and MUSG, discussing how like catering might be too expensive, and they were just saying how like we can provide for that because it's something that is essential, I guess, to the cultural show aspect. Like I know Sarah can like talk about how cultural show has always had a reception with food, and that like we did not want to lack on that, so they just wanted to help us out. Other things that we did with cultural show, like working with other organizations, like we reached out to like different restaurants like Makiyaki, Nimble Coffee Bar, Tangled, to help us with fundraisers. And it was really helpful because we got a lot of funds through that, and it helped cover anything else we needed for the show, which is like extra costumes and stuff like that. And I know for Battle, Kiko reached out to the alumni, which also helped cover funds for that, so that cultural show didn't have to cover for it as well.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Last one. Due to some circumstances that can be difficult to predict, there may be situations where an events coordinator takes on additional work to ensure the success of an event. Could you explain a time when you went above and beyond your expected responsibilities?
So definitely during culture show, I did a lot of like the planning backstage part, where I took on a lot of like the things like making the spreadsheets, like I said in my speech, but then like I also took on, I mean, this is in our duties, but like we also like delegated between other people. And I took on the duties of like making the programs, making the Snapchat filter, and like connecting with other like people like to talk about our catering order. And like another thing that was very big, like that wasn't necessarily within our duties, but like I guess like you can assume that it should be, is that a lot of people were like struggling within like cultural show to like, I guess like I said, like take a step back and like figure out what they're struggling with like mentally. And like, yeah, like I was a cultural show coordinator, but at the same time, like I am a BSO general member at the same time. And I wanted to be able to be there as like not just your e-board member, but as a friend. So I was like, just scratch the title of CSC for now. Like you need help and like we're going to work on it together. So like that's not necessarily like a thing written in the BSO constitution, but it is something that I feel like, even though it's not written in, like you should still be like a person there for like others. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
I don't believe we have any other questions from the audience, Heather, right? Okay. All right. Did you have any questions for us, Al?
No, not of right now.
Okay, sounds good. I guess you are free to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yay. So I have a discussion question from the audience. How many holes do pants have? Anyone can jump in for this question.
Does the direction of which the hole started matter? Because are you looking at it from opening pant leg or pant leg opening?
It's up to you how you want to interpret the question. How many holes do pants have?
2 holes.
Are these ripped jeans?
Oh, shit. Ooh, making it further difficult.
If they don't have any
Let's-
holes in them or pockets, I think
I'm gonna
there's
go
2 holes.
2 holes. 2 holes.
I got the pockets.
The pant legs share the waist hole.
Anyone else have
Does that
anything?
make sense?
I think we could look at it as how we described it in Winter LR, like a donut.
Mm-hmm.
I think a pant could be looked at as a double donut. Yeah.
So you're saying it's like 3?
If we were to look at it, no, double donut. There's a donut, donut, butt cheek, leg, leg. So 2 holes.
The leg holes. There are holes.
This question is too hard.
Rio doesn't like my answer.
Oh.
I have a question. Not audience.
What?
I have
From
a
the
question. No, from me. It's not from the audience.
Okay.
I would discuss it with you guys.
What is it?
Would you rather go without knees or go without elbows?
So that means basically going without, like, would you have the rest of your arm?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to like
Bend.
I would
like-
need my arms. So
Yeah, I'd
no
rather
knees.
arms.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm already
No
short
knees.
enough.
Yeah.
So you'd straight leg it?
I mean, knees are like what do you need a knee for?
Sarah goes, we need knees, guys.
I mean, I'm just, how are you gonna do anything without, like, you can't brush your teeth, you can't like put on your glasses. What are you gonna do? Well, okay, how about this? Is your arm like really floppy because it doesn't have an elbow, or is it just
Stiff.
like always stiff? Are you like Gumby, or are you like because that matters. I might take the knees if I'm Gumby.
Put that in the quote book after this.
Without knees.
I don't know. Gumby arms might be better than normal arms.
Rio, in the beginning of this question, you said that you were like, I need my arms. Like, you're very
Well,
adamant.
yeah, I assumed that we were doing stiff arm. The stiff arms are basically useless.
Okay, health majors.
You'd need like specialized tools to take care of yourself if you had stiff arms. Like, I don't know. But the really wavy arms, I could live like that.
Nice question.
Well, what are you doing?
I needed to get closer to the outlet. So I have to move the whole table.
What is the best fast food cheeseburger?
I don't like
know.
cheeseburgers.
Well,
I like hamburgers.
you just answer the question. Like, can you just answer? I don't know.
Sorry.
Like,
I may be from Wisconsin, but cheese is all right.
I like Culver's a lot.
Culver's good though.
Yeah. Oh, like the OSU people that have been in the car with me know that I like ask for Culver's every time we drive.
Have you been to Cops though? Cops has the best burgers.
Really?
Yes. And they're like the size of your head.
Is it made by police? No.
Please.
That was a good one. That's a good one.
And really good custard.
Maybe he was like a former cop and then he decided to.
It's KOPPS.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. All right. I like Five Guys. I'm going to answer my own question.
Really?
That's the best one for me. It's really sloppy, but it's good. It's good. Also, I think In-N-Out is good because it's cheaper, but I like Five Guys. And also, I never get In-N-Out because it's like halfway across. Yeah. What were you saying, Sarah?
You ever steak and shake? Remember steak and shake?
Oh, Steak and Shake is good. Wait, that's a good value.
Steak and Shake always has your back.
That might be a better value than In-N-Out. Or maybe, I don't know.
Who has the worst burgers?
What about
these burgers?
Huh? You don't like Wendy's?
I said Jolly Bee's burgers are not that good.
Oh, they're not very good. Oh.
I've never had a Jollibee burger.
Have you tried it?
I've had a burger. Pretty good. But it's not my favorite. I like my Chicken Joy. That's what I like. When is the next person coming? What, 9:10? 9:30?
Oh, Sarah sent us a link for some Would You Rathers.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Be
wow.
enthusiastic.
Would you guys?
Some of these are weird.
Would you guys rather be really hairy or really slimy all over?
I'd rather be really hairy.
Yeah, I'd rather be really hairy.
It'd be kind of cool.
Oh, hi, Marian.
I don't want to be slimy. Hi.
Sorry, is it okay to be early?
Hello. No, it's good. Save us from ourselves.
Okay.
Great. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Chilling. Nice. Yeah. Do you guys want to just go a little bit early?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's just go. So explaining it again, in case you haven't heard, I'm not sure, but 5 minutes to talk. And then after 5 minutes, we'll have a 5-minute around there Q&A part after. And after that, you'll be given an opportunity to just ask us any questions if you have them. Mary's going to be holding up time cards to help you keep track of the time. She'll give you 2 minutes and 1 minute. And yeah, do you have any questions for us before we start?
No, I'm good.
No?
Thank you.
Okay, just whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. So, hello, my name is Marian Nicolas, and I am a rising senior and majoring in health management. I attend St. Louis University and am part of the Filipino Student Association, otherwise known as SLU FSA. Today, I will be running to be your Mafa events coordinator for the upcoming year. I want to be your events coordinator not only because I know I would do a good job, but also because I would love and enjoy doing it. I want you to vote for me, not because I can do my job, but because you know that I will try to do more than that. I do have a lot to offer Mafa board. I'm reliable, passionate, personal, and I also know that I have a lot to learn if I'm elected to be events coordinator next year. Rather than being scared of this challenge, I am excited to better myself and guide next year's board to success. My sophomore year, I served as one of the showcase chairs for SLU FSA. It was my job to plan and run our annual showcase. In this job, we start in October and we work until our actual showcase in the last week of April. In the process, I learned a lot of different aspects of how running an event should be and how to manage a large group of people. We generally have about 60 or so members of our organization participate, and the event itself caters to 450 to 500 people. My co-chair and I would organize how dress rehearsals would go for the multiple dances being performed, ordered food, talked to a stage company, as well as fundraise for our event and much more. This year, I had the opportunity to be Vice President of External Affairs for SLU FSA. For my organization, I have organized trips to external events such as FACT, Battle of the Bamboo, MFest, and other road trips. In this job, I also contact a lot of other cultural organizations around campus to bring them into other events hosted by our own organization, whether it is to perform or an invitation to just come. What I love about my job this year is seeing members interact with others they didn't think that they would become close to on these trips. I love talking to people on these car rides and on these trips because people are what make up this organization. At the end of the day, that is what you will remember when you graduate, and this is all long behind you. What I've learned from my past jobs in SLU FSA is that I love organizing events because of the memories it brings people. The main reason I want to be events coordinator is not just because I enjoy planning events. I love going to these events and seeing the relationships form between people and schools. And that's what I love and cherish about my organization and Mafa. I love how it brings people together you did not expect to ever meet in your lifetime, and they not only become your closest friends, but your family. However, sometimes I believe people can get caught up in their own bubble I'll even admit that sometimes this can happen to me. My freshman year, I had a hard time grasping the concept of Mafa and what they did. It wasn't until this year, after being involved in the Mafa sphere with my job as VPE, that I truly could understand and appreciate Mafa. A new idea that I would have going forward for next year are SIB schools. Respective e-boards for Mafa schools can fill out general application or a survey based on how big their organization is, how many years they have been established, how involved in Mafa they are, and what they want out of the Mafa sphere. Based on the survey, we can pair schools with each other in order to help support one another. This would help people interact more at Mafa events, as well as help form stronger relationships. I understand this idea may not exactly be an events coordinator job, but I would like to attract more of a family aspect to events. Growing up, I did not grow up with a strong sense of Filipino community. My family in America is all over the place, and growing up, I didn't have the big stereotypical karaoke singing family parties. In fact, I didn't even know karaoke was a Filipino thing. So coming to college, the fact that there was a Filipino organization on our campus, much less the whole Midwest, greatly surprised me. I want to keep the sense of family alive in Mafa, and I hope this organization never loses that. Filipino culture is so family-oriented and ingrained in the idea that my home is your home. It gives you a community to fall back on in a society that can sometimes act against us. My freshman year, I was so scared of college, but FSA gave me a family when my own family was not there. I was shown kindness from members in my organization and Mafa today and from members that came long before me. I think family is the key thing that keeps this organization going, and it is what I want to pass on. While I have a lot of ideas for next year, I can't do it without an e-board or Mafa general body that supports and is behind me. Likewise, I know that I have to support them and your ideas. While I'm strong-minded and firm in many of my beliefs, I have to listen to others because that is how we learn and grow. Next year, my only commitments are taking 15 credits for both the fall and spring semester, being a spring immersion leader for a social justice trip, and working at max 18 hours at my job. I have loved what I have done in FSA, and I love the organization, the people. With everything I have done, FSA and Mafa have taught me what it means to live your life with passion and with love. I have loved all my jobs that I have done, and I am ready to take on the job as events coordinator for Mafa next year. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job on your speech. We had a few questions that we've prepared for you. Could you explain a time when, provide some more detail, a time when you were collaborating with another organization, and could you provide some detail about kind of like how you organized those events and communicated with that other organization?
Like on FSA? I'm sorry.
In any kind of experience you've had where you've maybe had to collaborate with a different student organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry if that was.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I understand. Sorry. So one of the events that we have on our campus for FSA is multicultural formal. So what we do is we ask a lot of different cultural organizations on campus. So they have their own dance teams. So FSA has our own dance team. So likewise, we ask other organizations for their dance teams to perform for us. So it's a lot of emailing and contacting and bringing them in. And then you have to give them like an itinerary, schedules, what their dress rehearsals will be like, and then what time to come during like the actual day of. So there's a lot of like contacting before and yeah.
Cool. Could you explain maybe like a little bit more detail on that, on kind of like maybe one of the challenges you faced with that collaborating between, specifically kind of on the communication side, like how you kind of managed, the different relationships and planning of all that?
Okay. So sometimes with this different orgs, sometimes it's hard to kind of contact them because sometimes they don't exactly check, like everyone uses different forms. Like some people are better to contact via email. Some people are better to contact during Facebook. So I think one of the biggest challenges I've had this year is contacting like certain people or like who to contact. I think the best way to kind of go about that is it's better to contact more people than less. So for like my contacting issue, I would contact the president of their organization as well as their general email, as well as if they did have like an external or outreach chair for like their own organization. Also, sometimes people have conflicts with like dress rehearsals or what times they can come. So sometimes multiple people like can't perform first. So then like times have to like move up, or sometimes last minute, like an organization can't come, but you just have to be really flexible with how these jobs go. or like how planning events goes, and not stress about it, and kind of focus more on what you can work on rather than what you can't do.
Very cool. So another question that we had was sometimes an events coordinator, no matter how much planning you do, sometimes things kind of just pop up. Things are unexpected, and you have to maybe take on some extra work. Could you maybe explain a time when you went above and beyond what was expected of you?
Yes. So for my sophomore year, I was like I said in my speech, I was the showcase chair for FSA. And so a lot of challenges did come up with that, because managing 60 people is kind of a lot, just between two people, like my co-chair and I. So an issue that we had was people were very confused with like dress rehearsals and how they could go. So like what we did was we made a whole like Excel sheet. So we had like the whole itinerary and then like all the dress rehearsals. And then another thing that like happened with that is that sometimes dances aren't 100% where they need to be. So some need extra practices, but you won't really know that until like the week of. So in order to like plan the extra practices, it's a lot of communications between the choreographers and like their dancers, and then the choreographers getting back to us, and then also us going to their dress rehearsals to make sure that they are actually following through with what they say. So I think it's just looking at like the whole picture and seeing like where things can fit in and where they can work out, and also just being flexible on both ends, hopefully, with time and like what we can do, and understanding compromise. So sometimes dances, like some people would need more than others. So some dancers would give up some of their dress rehearsal time in order to accommodate people that weren't other dancers that weren't as ready. So like the bigger dances. So
cool. And I have one more question for you. As events coordinator, you may or may not have to either advise or you personally try to secure funding for an event. If you have experience with that, could you describe a little bit about what you did, or can you explain about what your plans for, if that is the case with some events that you're planning?
So for Showcase Chair again, we also did have to fundraise. So our stage generally cost about $12,000. I believe, if around that amount. So some of our organization provides that money, but obviously we're a school CSO, so like we don't get a lot of funding. So we do have to raise some of that money. So a lot of it is asking like companies and businesses that are around us, like if they are willing to donate or like make donations, also making raffle baskets. So I have a lot of experience with like contacting for like donations for things, and also like asking like businesses around the area. I know with like Mafa, like since it's the Midwest, there would be more businesses and companies. So I think that there are a lot of people that we can contact. Also making raffle baskets and like kind of being organized with like the whole like spread and like which raffle baskets to make sure that like some aren't cooler than others, I guess, if that makes sense, or like some like obviously need more things. Also, I do have experiences with budgeting. On my resume, I mentioned that I was the treasurer or vice president of finance, but basically treasurer for the Minority Association of Pre-Health Students. So I do have experience, with budgeting and like how finances work, as well as like communicating between like student or like our SGA, so our Student Government Association on campus, and like funding with that.
Great, very cool. Yeah, thank you. I think that concludes our time for Q&A. Did you have anything to ask?
No, I did not.
Pretty good. Okay. Well, yeah, great job. Thank you very much for coming.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I'll see you, Marian.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right.
I'm so bad at timekeeping. I mixed
9:30.
cards.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I could tell. It was like, whoa, 1 minute already. There's no way.
At one point, I put it upside down, and I was like, oh no.
Back to the stuff. Maybe we should not do the weird, the really weird ones that Sarah posted here.
I didn't even read them. Are they really weird?
Oh, jeez. Some of these are wild.
Not all bad. Come on now.
What? They're like, most of them are bad. Would you rather eat only mayonnaise for the rest of your life, or sweat only mayonnaise for the rest of your life?
Oh.
So like you can't even put mayonnaise on like a piece of bread.
No, you're just eating mayo.
Okay, I'd rather eat mayo than sweat mayo.
Yeah, I mean,
Ew. Well, imagine like
this is a good one. This is
on your body. Like you don't have to eat it like all the time. You just have to eat it when you're hungry. Like I don't want to. I sweat a lot. Okay, and if I sweat mayo,
so you're basically giving up food though.
I won't give up food. I like mayo, but like I'm not gonna eat all the freaking time. Like
No, I'm saying you're only eating mayo. You can't eat anything else.
I would rather eat only mayo than sweat mayo.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. I sweat a lot, so this is a personal issue.
What if you moved to a really cold place?
I still sweat. I swear.
Yeah, no, you probably would. I'm a sweaty sleeper. Not really. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Jess and Sarah, if we were to only eat mayo, what would happen to our bodies? Like,
you could be smart about it, maybe. Like, you know,
How
like.
would you be smart if your little mayo is like eggs and like oil? Like, there's like nothing really
That's like
special.
keto
I guess
diet, right? That's like.
But like. I don't.
You might die. I don't know. I feel like that's definitely not enough.
Okay, if you're mayo from your hands, everything you eat is gonna taste like mayo anyway. So you may as well just eat mayo all the time. Right?
You eat with a fork.
But then you can eat other things.
Right.
Okay, but your hands are gonna feel like oil if you're sweaty. Like I have a lot of friends with like sweaty hands, so like. Yeah, Marian.
Well, if you don't really care about what people think about you, you could just sweat mayo and enjoy life. You know, like you could like enjoy all the food you want.
Yeah.
Would I be able to sell the mayo that I sweat?
Ooh, how about that?
You could go through your clothes and like. Do you smell like mayonnaise?
You'd probably smell. I mean, does mayo have a smell?
I think it does. If you ever like open,
It does.
You gotta get real close to it.
Yeah, but like
it's like a garlic mayo. I feel like you're
garlic mayo.
I feel like you're talking about like a garlicky mayo that has a smell. I don't know.
Like any mayo has a smell, and if it's on you, like you're gonna smell it. Like oh.
Well, Francis had a good point though. What if you sell your mayo?
I'll just get a bunch of jars, make bank, and I'll just be the main mayo dude.
Okay, here's the thing. You could seriously. Some people might want to buy the all-natural mayo, like straight out of the, non-pasteurized, like just real mayo. Or you could sell your body to a big corporation. Yeah, yes, that's even another thing you could do. You could I don't know who sells mayo, whatever. What are those big mayo companies?
Spellman.
Whatever it is, you could go to them and be like, "Hey, I'm constantly producing mayo. I'll work for you if you harvest my mayo."
Wait, so okay, you know how like sweat is like technically like pee? Do you pee mayonnaise?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
They're damn near the same thing.
You're just gonna become the corporation's mayo slave. Like, why would you want that?
Well, no, I'd come with a lawyer and I'd work out a good deal for myself.
I guess whatever makes you happy, brother.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, I never thought to sell the mayo.
That's true.
I don't know.
Would you sweat enough to produce as much mayo that those corporations would want?
Yeah, are we like drenched in mayo?
It depends on how much you sweat, right? Like,
or they make you work and go to a sauna every day, collecting.
That just sounds disgusting.
But I mean,
Just start your own business. Just,
I'm just thinking, I want to be able to eat food, you know? I don't want to just eat mayo. It sucks.
Wouldn't you smell like mayo anyway if that's the only thing you ate? Just wondering.
Dude, I don't care. How about, I mean, like,
Real
I think
brother
at that point,
smells.
you're going to be a celebrity. If you're sweating mayo, you're going to be famous. And you're going to be able to benefit from that in some way.
Only eating mayo, wouldn't you still smell like mayo? So either choice you make, you're gonna end up smelling like mayo.
I don't know why you're so concerned about smelling like mayo.
Because that's weird. I know you don't care, Rio, but
I can't even smell mayo. I don't know. I don't put my nose close enough to smell it.
I guess.
I don't know. All right, maybe we can. You wanna pivot?
I like this question. Would you rather be able to fly, but only backwards, or be able to turn invisible, but only when you're blindfolded?
Ooh.
Oh. Wow.
The backwards flying. That doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah,
just
can I turn my head?
Do you know if you're invisible though?
But I think invisible is kind of a cooler power, actually, though.
But can you really
can't
do
see.
anything with it if you can't see?
You can just hide. You can hide
From
whenever
what?
you want.
Everyone close your eyes.
I don't know. Look, it's like when you're a kid, when you close your eyes, you think that no one can see you. That's actually what happens when you have this power. You know what I mean? No, maybe the invisible thing's stupid.
I think if you choose flying, then you can just install some rear view mirrors. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's pretty easy ways
You
to
can
work
do way
around
more
that.
things with flying than like
I
what if
guess
you're just
you're
being
right.
blind and like being invisible? Like you're basically non-existent.
If you
Yeah,
embarrass yourself.
yeah. You could steal things.
Blind.
I don't know. You could like
I guess
be.
you could surprise yourself with the stuff that you could take.
Well, no, I mean, think like like if you got really good at being blindfolded, you know, like blind people, like they get pretty, you know, they can get around and stuff. Like if you're doing it all the time, then you'd be pretty good.
If you're trying to steal something, wouldn't item be floating?
Yeah, but then
Yeah, it'd be floating.
What's going on?
It'd be floating.
What if you put it in your mouth?
I think
I mean-
people would be more amazed at the fact that there's like a floating object.
You could run like you could do like a scam. You could like
I know.
scam people.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
How is everybody?
Fantastic. Really great. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. One second.
Sure.
We're hoping for Summer to get here. She just got off work and she's getting here pretty soon.
Okay.
Let me see how long ago, if we should get started. Well,
No problem.
I don't really want to keep you waiting for too long. Do you guys think it's all right if we just get started? You guys
Yeah, she
feeling
can
all
do
right
it.
about that? Okay, yeah.
Then if you want, you should send your speech to Summer just so she can also read over it, or she can rewatch this as well.
Yeah, if you are
Is there
reading.
a specific email I can send it to, or should I
You
just
can
send
do
it
the
to
We Are
them?
Mafa. That'll work. Okay, but you don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh.
Summer can, yeah.
Yeah, I can do it right now. It'll just take a second.
Okay, whatever you're
Okay.
comfortable with.
Oh, okay. Well, I did it already. My bad.
No, you're fine. Great.
Just one less thing for you guys to worry about.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, so in case you haven't heard yet, you'll have 5 minutes to do your speech. We have a 5-minute Q&A section afterwards. We're going to ask you some questions. And then after that, you'll be able to ask us any questions. Mary has cards that she's holding up that'll help you keep track of your time. She's got 2 minutes and 1 minute. So try your best to hold those up at the appropriate times and in the right way.
Okay.
And then, yeah, do you have any questions for us?
Not right now, but I just wanted to preface that like my Wi-Fi might be a little crazy, so if I like spot out at all or if I cut out, just like let me know so I can repeat myself.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, whenever you're ready, you can start, and Mary will start the time.
Okay, great. There. Okay. Good evening, Mafa. My name is Naomi Caridad, and I'll be running for the leadership role of Mafa President. I've been involved with Mafa for 3 years and have attended as many events as my schedule has allowed me to. Through both Kappa and Mafa, I have found a reignited passion for my Filipinx heritage. Within this environment, I hope to be a light, an advocate, and a friend to all I encounter. In this role, my responsibility is to serve the whole Mafa community, both boards and general body members. First, I believe I'm qualified for this position because I have the skills and experience I can offer as a board member. If elected, this would be my 11th executive board position in my undergrad career, with experience as a secretary, treasurer, vice president, president, member at large, academic wellness chair, sisterhood chair, and other unofficial leadership positions. This shows my dedication to organizations that have filled me personally, as well as my passion for serving different communities in different ways and doing my part in impacting the growth. There have been instances this year where I thought to myself, it would be cool if Mafa did X, Y, and Z, all of which regarding different positions, which is why I thought out of all the vacancies, president would suit me best. As a leader, I think it's really important to meet executive board members where they're at, in their roles within board and in their lives personally and academically. I want to see this board thrive, and I want to say that I did everything I can to help this board accomplish their goals in their offices. In terms of accountability, it's crucial, especially for our larger projects, to make sure that every small detail is shared in various formats, said aloud during board meetings, written down in a place where everyone involved can see, and expressed thoroughly in detail. If we have an expectation of someone, that also has to be expressed clearly. Once the roles and the tasks are understood, it's up to them to complete the task and reach out for help as needed. If things aren't getting done, either 1, there are time management issues, 2, something is happening in their lives that we don't know, or 3, they just don't want to do it. And all of these instances are okay, but they need to be communicated with the group so the tasks get done one way or another. Within this group of leaders, I want to have an environment where people can safely ask questions, problem solve, handle conflict resolutions respectively, and stay passionate about Mafa. Since the presidential role changes each year, for me, I would question 3 things. Where am I needed? What can I do to make your life easier? And what can I do for this board to give everyone a fair and inclusive voice? Honestly, I don't know everyone in the Mafa sphere. I don't know much about many PSAs besides when their events are and who's on executive board. And I'm sure most people watching this evening don't know much about me. But I also know that I'm not alone in these sentiments. When organizations don't get recognized during roll call when they've checked in as present for an event, or when I look at the Mafa website and I see that Kappa isn't listed as a Mafa school, even though we've been active for 3 years, it's really easy to feel forgotten and undervalued. And like I said, these are examples of really small things we don't normally think about, but these moments can potentially make or break someone's participation in Mafa. And this is my strongest motivator to run for executive board, because as leaders of this organization, not only must we ensure that we're taking care of everyone, but we have to make sure that we're doing our part in making sure all individuals and organizations are being recognized and known throughout the Mafa sphere. And this starts with pouring into a specific group of people who I personally feel get left behind. And those people are general body members. We can't serve as executive board members without general body members to serve. This group doesn't participate in the e-board photo shoot announcements. They don't attend the leadership retreats or board meetings, but they're the most crucial in the growth of their home PSAs and Mafa because they're the ones who show up. They're the ones who consciously decide that they want to invest their time and talent in our organizations. They want to volunteer their weekends to travel, perform, and support other Mafa schools. And most importantly, they're the future leaders of Mafa. By making a conscious effort to recognize their presence in the Mafa sphere now, it could create a huge impact in their lives and give them a push to give back later on. The encouragement and recognition, starting with me and starting with the Mafa board, should start right now. To promote unity and participation throughout the whole organization, I have a handful of ideas. They include distance and participation awards, an incentive program to participate in Mafa programming, a Mafa member of the day spotlight, AKA reveal at fact, alternating the intern program into volunteer-based committees that start in the mid-fall instead of the winter. The earlier mentorship starts, the earlier we build leaders. There are so many things I want to say in 5 minutes that I can't. I'm available to clarify any questions any PSA may have, but I want to be clear that I'm looking out for you, the people watching tonight, and the organizations you represent. Mafa is comprised of all of us, not just Mafa boards, and we all have the power to impact this organization. I genuinely want to see you, to hear you, and serve you this year's Mafa president. And with that, I yield my time. Thank you.
Great job. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess we'll go into the questions now. Okay.
Sure.
So being president entails being able to step up when conflict arises within Mafa, but also in the board itself. Could you explain a time when you had to handle a conflict?
Yes. So by non-capital organizations, there was a conflict where we had elections and the results weren't as expected, and some people kind of reacted in different ways. And this essentially affected our whole chapter right away. So instead of just pushing it off to the side and letting everybody handle it by themselves, we sat down everybody who was involved immediately within hours of the interaction happening. And we really made sure that everyone's voices were heard clearly, that we weren't attacking people's characters, that we were attacking the issues at hand. And we were together coming up with solutions on how to deal with these problems and how to deal with these problems in the future. Kind of using the language of, instead of attacking people, we could say, thank you for that feedback. What do you have to say? What can we do to fix this next time? Or how can we address you differently in the future? Just making sure we're really recognizing everybody's voices and making sure that everyone's heard. I think that's really important because we want to make sure everybody understands that their presence is valued and their participation in an organization really does mean a lot, whether they do have a board position or not, whether they're leadership or not. Everyone deserves to be heard. And when we do have those conflicts where things are misunderstood, it's really important that we address them right away and we don't let people sit on their thoughts because it's important. So dealing with conflict is hard and it's never fun, but these are the conversations that happen in order for an organization to move forward and to see how we address conflict and how we treat one another respectfully when dealing with it. So
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. As the primary spokesperson of Mafa, what is your plan in terms of expanding Mafa's alumni network or with other organizations?
So in terms of the alumni program, I think one of the issues why it hasn't really set forth is that we don't really keep track of the membership in terms of individuals, and we kind of look at the organization as a whole. So what I'm hoping to do this year is really get a thorough directory of each organization, and that includes who their members are, who their paid memberships are, who their unpaid memberships are, members are, when they plan to graduate. So we have those on record. So we can check in 4 years from now from a freshman that starts out in 2019 and graduates in 2023. Are you still in Mafa? What are your plans post-grad? And I think we really need to recognize those members too, because they have stuck out the whole 4 years or they have stayed. And that's a huge, huge accomplishment that not a lot of people can say when they join a Filipino organization like Mafa. So being able to recognize them and really seeing the value in what happens when you stay in a program for 4 years. For me, I'm starting out as a co-founder and I'm entering my 4th year in this program. And I'm so excited to see how much has changed and how I've changed as an individual and what change that I can do to represent Cap Amelia and Mafa as I graduate in the winter. So just kind of tracking all the progress now. So we are not it's not May and we're trying to figure out who's graduating. We should already know that. So just being proactive about it and making sure that they have a platform to talk about their past and reflect on all of those things. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do with expanding the alumni, just like tracking sooner and being effective in that.
Awesome. Summer, you had some questions that you prepared for Naomi?
Yes. Hi. Hi, Naomi. Hi. Sorry I'm late. I just got off work.
Oh, you're fine.
So in your application, you mentioned that you wanted to be physically present to meet with the executive boards of Mafa organizations for our annual conference calls. How would you coordinate the logistics and travel expenditures needed to achieve this goal? And what would the timeline look like?
Can you repeat that first part of the question? I misheard it, or it was kind of like fading out.
How would you coordinate the logistics of meeting physically with each Mafa board for the conference calls? And how would the timeline look like in the year?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you just repeat it one more time? I don't want to say the wrong thing. I want to make sure I hear you clearly.
Okay, no problem. How would you coordinate the logistics and just travel expenses needed to achieve the goal? And how would the timeline look like?
Okay. You're talking about the incentive program that I included in my application?
The conference calls, the meeting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Meeting with Mafa board between the executive boards of each.
Yeah, definitely. Of course. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that for me. So we definitely want to work around what works for the Mafa board. So when they're present, like during their executive board meetings, if there's a general board meeting, with all the Mafa board members being in different states, I think it's completely possible for us to make those 2-hour drives or those 1-hour drives to be able to really get to know these people. I think in terms of the logistics, just making sure that we are really planning thoroughly. How much is it going to cost to cover gas? If there's housing, if there's any people in those organizations that can really take that initiative in housing someone. I'd like to look at our Mafa finances and kind of see if there is at all any money that can be allocated to covering gas and hotels if those are needed. But I just really think building those interpersonal face-to-face relationships at home campuses are really important because we don't get to see a full organization all the time. Usually it's just the people who can make it out to the external events or the people that we can fit in cars, because that's always an issue, fitting everybody into where they want to travel. But meeting them where they're at, I think really makes a difference. And it kind of gives the general board members like, hey, I know this person. Like they came out and they made the travel to come see me and get to know me. And maybe in return, like they'll show up to the other external events. So just making sure that we find a timeline that works for everybody. And we would do that by kind of figuring out when everyone's schedules are and kind of catering to them. So just making it work and being flexible and open to whatever opportunities are available.
Sorry, do I have time for one more question? Not sure. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. How do you plan on working with outgoing Mafa board in order to achieve full transition of your potential board, especially since that the 100% turnover rate has been a consistent problem in the past for Mafa board?
Yes, definitely. To answer your question, the 100% turnover rate kind of does concern me at an extent, just because, and in terms of officer transitions, it kind of shows that throughout the school year, we're not really actively pursuing people that we want to be on board. And when you think about it, officer transitions should be happening year round. Just because you would never want to leave a board thinking like, what the heck do? I don't know anything that's going on. So to begin with, I think it's really important that we keep in really thorough communication with you guys, kind of just seeing how you guys have laid the grounds for us and what we're working with going into the next school year. just seeing what you've documented, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and kind of seeing how we can kind of put our own touch on your legacy throughout the upcoming school year. I mentioned this in my application questions, the idea of kind of alternating the intern program so that it does start in the fall instead of the winter. And my rationale for that is Mafa is a huge responsibility, and it's a lot to ask for all of you to do individually. So in order for us to kind of start that transition, we should start pouring into new members earlier. So giving them the opportunity to learn about your positions in the fall and kind of see how you're working throughout the year, what they can do to help you, allowing you to be a soundboard for them, and kind of bouncing ideas off of each other, just so it's not just the 9 of you or the 8 of you who plan to be on board. I think by working as a team and having like a team under you, it'll give potential candidates the opportunity to see how you run the position and what the position does entail. Because with officer transitions, if somebody graduates and like moves away, or you have a hard time contacting them, I've been in other organizations where there are issues that the officer transitions are so bad that somebody goes inactive in that organization. And I would never want that upon any Mafa board member. So just being able to make sure that we take mentorship very seriously, because these are the people that are filling our shoes. They're the people who are going to be that change and that want to instill change. And I think that's kind of the goal of the intern program, right? To kind of, we want at least somebody to say, yes, this was an awesome experience. I want to do this and take that initiative on you. I think it would eliminate the idea of us kind of having to do like a round 2 or a round 3 of elections. So definitely by pouring into the new members now, and not just executive board members, seeing general body members who want to step up, that's a huge signal in your brain that, oh, maybe this person has the leadership qualities to take that next initial step. And I want to pour into this person, and I want to grow and do life with this person and really see what they can do as an executive board member. So just doing something simple as that, just starting sooner with the intent of pouring into future leaders and build up their passion for Mafa. Like, I think having a strong mentorship in the Filipino community is something that is so important, because some of us don't have real, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but there's like only child and only children or that don't have the older siblings, and they kind of use that as a mentorship and they take that seriously. Like, they look up to you guys, and you guys have a huge role in being the leaders. So being able to be that for somebody so much to the point where they want to continue on your legacy is something really important. So definitely starting earlier. I'm sorry, I think I definitely went over time, but
No, that's
I
cool.
just think it's so important.
That's cool.
Thank
That's
you.
good stuff.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
all the
of course.
questions.
Okay, I think, do you have any questions for us before you leave?
I did have one question,
Mhm.
or maybe 2, if we have time.
Sure.
But what is one program that you guys have run as a Mafa board that you would like to see more participation in next year? So this could be like the roundtables or anything of those sorts, like that you want, or like the Mafa blog. Like, what do you want to see organizations like, do be a part of more?
Personally, I think the roundtables could be improved for sure. When it was introduced last year, last year, I had the opportunity to sit in on some of that, and it was really interesting, like enlightening conversations. And I think that there's a lot of room for that to grow. And I think folks in the Mafa sphere are kind of like more open to the idea of having those conversations more regularly too. So I would like to see that be stronger in next year.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to see next year? Or more participation in next year? Okay. Okay, then that's all I had. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye.
Okay, I actually have the next person right here, so.
Oh, in person. Okay, just reach out. Hello. What's up, Maddie?
Is there
Nothing. Just ran over here.
Nice.
Thank you all.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure you already know how this is going to go, but you have 5 minutes to do your speech. We'll do a 5-minute Q&A, and then you'll have time to speak to us, time to ask us questions if you have any. We'd like to kind of like maybe slow it down a little bit, just because I think Sarah was on her way. She had to leave the place where she was at, but she's going to get on really soon. Yeah. Do you have any questions about kind of like what we're the rest of the whole process or anything before we get started? Or
So will you be asking questions based off of the application I sent in at all? I don't know if I could fit everything I wanted to talk about into the 5-minute speech.
Yeah, we had prepared some questions based on your application, and if there's time, we might be adding additional questions. Just depends on how the conversation goes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sarah, can you hear everything good? I don't see you. I just see your icon.
Her mic's really bad.
Sarah?
I don't know if she's talking or not.
Sarah.
Sarah.
I think we're good. She's in the call. She's here. She's probably just fumbling around trying to find some headphones or something.
She says she's trying to get.
Oh, yeah, she's having a hard time logging on.
Can't not laugh at that.
Yeah, I don't think I know what it is. It's an onion.
Is it an onion?
I don't know what it is.
It's a baby, is it not?
I thought it was an onion.
It looks like a fat Teletubby.
I've seen that the whole year, and I still don't know what it is.
anyone in the audience? If you know what it is, comment.
Should I?
Oh, she's gone.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we just get started? I don't want to make Maddie wait for too long.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think Sarah can just pop in as soon as she can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you all hear me just fine?
Yeah, everything's
Okay.
good on our end.
Well, I'll just start then. Hello, Mafa Board and Sphere. My name is Madeleine Azcueta, or as most of you know me as Maddie. I am an incoming senior studying human resource management at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I am a part of Filipino Student Union and was one of the co-founders of FSU when it was established in 2017. This past year, I acted as president for the 2018-2019 term. Today, I'm speaking with you all because I am running for the position of Secretary of Cultural Affairs. When I was a freshman, I became involved with Mafa when I helped bring 40 students to FACT 2016. At the time, my campus did not have a set community of Filipinos, so FACT was a really big thing for us. Through a month of fundraising, long nights, and hard work, my friends and I were able to bring UWM students to UIUC's campus. For me, this experience was so fulfilling and eye-opening. Not only did I step out of my comfort zone to rise as a leader, but it was also my first experience being around so many young Filipinx and Asian Americans. This sense of community not only helped my friends and I want to start an organization on campus, but also why I'm talking in front of you today. As co-founder of FSU, I have always acted as a support system to help bring Filipino awareness on campus. As secretary our first year, I helped FSU build ties within the Milwaukee community through volunteer work with the Philippine Medical Clinic and Filipino American Historical Society of Wisconsin. FSU's second year as an org, I was challenged to be a leader. Acting as president, I learned a lot about how to communicate, delegate, and give and receive feedback. As president, I focused on the development and internal dynamic since FSU started off as an external organization. Some accomplishments from this past year were getting TFCU to do its first ever workshop on our campus, showcase student talents with our first ever coffee house, and revamp board dynamic for FSU's third year by focusing on evaluations and onboarding. Both of these positions taught me how to be a team player and a leader. I personally love to work with others, and why I'm drawn to this position because of the opportunity it has to collaborate with each board member. My goals for this position start off with what I did as a Mafa intern my freshman year. Secretary is fully in charge of the Mafa blog, and a goal I have stems from a project we did for Mafa interns. With a team, I helped jumpstart the idea of school vlogs. Mafa schools will have the chance to document how they run, what special traditions they have, and why they love their schools. Looking into Mafa's history, this will be revamping a past idea. Reconstructing this idea is taking an opportunity for a school to get more active with a blog. And for new organizations, it's a great opportunity to learn how other PSAs spread Filipino awareness on their campus. I would work closely with the Director of Media, Outreach, and DPI to coordinate with the 27 Mafa schools on when to post on the blog. Being Secretary of Cultural Affairs is also taking on the challenge to stay up to date on the news and create content that is woke and relevant for Mafa members. I have taken global media courses and know how I curate news and also know how I should curate news. I currently stay up to date through word of mouth, social media, and Hassan Minaj. I know this is not a holistic way to stay woke. Through this role, I want to take a more active position in what is happening in the Philippines and the rest of the world. I see this as an opportunity to use what I've learned to analyze media while also helping others take a more active role. When it comes to posting content, I will try to highlight political views as a news source has to help others critically think about what news they're digesting. With more sensitive issues, I want to highlight both sides of the argument to make sure differing viewpoints are out there for members to make their own holistic view. Some topics I would like to explore through either posts or roundtable discussions is the cause and effect of the Philippine elections, generational gaps between Filipinos and Filipino Americans, and the importance of diversity in the workplace. Being an HR major, I would love to take this opportunity to help make Mafa more of a professional organization for students. With the VPE, I would want to work with alumni or professional organizations to help explore majors and careers by broadcasting their stories on the Mafa blog. I personally benefit from learning success stories from others, and through the blog, I want to highlight how others got to where they are and what advice they can give to students while finding their way. I believe this would be a great starting point to get Mafa to spread its network professionally and help empower students. These are just some of my goals I want to achieve with the new board. If elected as Secretary of Cultural Affairs, I'm excited to take this opportunity to be creative, collaborative, and help get members to be more socially, culturally, and professionally involved with Mafa. I want to work with the new board to help further bring cultural awareness to and empower students across the Midwest. That's it. I hope I didn't talk too fast.
Thank you very much, Maddie. Great job. Yeah, so Sarah, do you have some questions?
Yeah, so I guess my first question, as Secretary of Culture, you will be responsible for addressing a lot of sensitive issues happening in the Philam community. So I kind of just wanted to get a sense of what your experience is facilitating these kinds of discussions about difficult topics.
I did help FSU kind of start its first roundtable discussion, even though what I noticed is kind of getting that member retention for people to start those discussions. I think it's always important when it comes to dealing with sensitive issues is to show the varying viewpoints that people have, making sure that there is an open-minded, safe space to talk about it. When it comes to dealing with certain subjects, as I mentioned in my speech, I think what is important is to kind of analyze what news sources or evidence you're backing up, what topics you're discussing, and also kind of expressing that your opinion is your own opinion and it's not the viewpoint of anyone else's. And when it comes to just dealing with sensitive issues, I think in general, I would be able to do that because I feel like I can be a very objective person and just kind of hope that when it comes to roundtable discussions, if any of the board is also there to kind of help me with, especially when it comes to doing the first ones. I know that it'll take some time to kind of get used to it, but I know that when it comes down to it, I'll be able to do it. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah. I guess the other question, a few other questions that we have for you are, so a large goal for the secretary position is to get people to interact more with the content that we put out, and participate more in some roundtable discussions or other, kinds of educational things that we put out. How would you build interest for those types of content?
I mentioned this in my application, but I think really working closely with the outreach chairs and kind of working with the Mafa reps of each school. I know most of the time it's just kind of telling them about Mafa Spirit Week, all the other Mafa events, but never really, I felt like as someone that was a Mafa head, we never got that much about roundtable discussions. Or just kind of getting member attention for that. What I would wanted to focus on is kind of getting all the Mafa reps or Mafa heads to start conversations within their school to kind of see what the students there want to talk about, what their interest is. I think the best way to get like member retention would be stuff I had. Member attention would be just working with the VPI and outreach to talk to others about coming to roundtable discussions. I know that I personally wanted to get the Mafa blog to be more active through the vlogs that I wanted to do, talk to each school. Coming from like a newer organization, I think would be really helpful for all the new Mafa schools that came in to have the opportunity to kind of see how other Mafa orgs were established and what traditions they have, to kind of see how they spread a Filipino awareness. And then having the opportunity to like showcase that, I think that members from each school can share those posts from the Mafa blog, because the more attention it gets is how well it's shared across social media. And if we can get at least like one student from every school to just like write on the blog or just get interested in, I think they would help bring more interactiveness within Mafa. Long-winded.
Great. Is there any other types of content that maybe we haven't seen before that you'd like to implement in your role?
This was mentioning what I wanted to do with kind of helping Mafa become more of a professional org. I know shadowing under VPE, we were working on getting alumni to be more active within Mafa, and I think getting alumni to reaching out to alumni and asking like if they could just share their story past being in Mafa and telling us how they have used their skills from being a leader in their organization to help them in their professional life would be really helpful for students to see that Mafa is not just a social and cultural org, but also something that can be utilized for the future. Personally, I believe like hearing success stories from people that you know, or at least people that you've heard of, is really important. And getting those people to participate in the Mafa blog, I think would be a more interactive way to get like everyone to be more involved with the blog, especially looking at the blog. I think just adding pictures of the people who write for the blog. I was noticing that a lot of posts are either just like pictures from like the article or just you don't really know who the name of like the what is it can put a name to the face. And I think just being able to look back on that and having people share that will get more views.
Yeah, I think those are some great ideas. Yeah, any other Mafa board members? You guys have any questions? Or are we good on time? Pretty good. Okay. All right, Maddie. Do you have any questions for us?
I was just wondering what made you want to change a position of secretary to encompass more cultural awareness and like specifically secretary is the one to kind of build content for Mafa in that sense. I don't know if Sarah's still here.
Yeah. Summer, you want to take that? I can do it if you...
Oh, okay. You could do it. Do you want to? Either
Sure.
or.
Well, either way. I mean, you just got here, so
Okay.
if you want to...
Oh, I can write. I can speak about a little about it because I did did the primary writing for like the constitutional proposal and change. So just noticing programming from the recent years of past BAFA, the cultural education portion of what MAFA stands for has been addressed here and there, but there wasn't like full like programming for it written for any specific position. And I really wanted for, well, like it's the responsibility of all MAFA board to be, you know, pushing for the cultural education like within the MAFA sphere, but we should have like a position intended to spearhead those programs. And I thought when it came to like placing it upon a current position or creating a new position, secretary had already taken the initiative for helping out with roundtables, doing blog posts that kind of centered on these ideas. So it seemed very perfect to put them together. And I think Rio can also add to that.
Yeah, I mean, Summer covered like basically all the major points of it. I think it just helps when it's written in the Constitution and it's specifically stated, and that this person is to kind of like have that as one of their main responsibilities, is like to lead things, because all the other positions on Mafa board have a lot of like, some of them have very like clear roles, and I think we saw this change as an opportunity to clarify the secretary role, and just do something that basically the secretary has been doing for, as far as I know, for the past in recent years. So just making it official, I guess.
That was all my questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Maddie. Appreciate it. You know, with the time changes and everything, it's nice that you can just jump in. So yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Okay.
Cool, you're matching with Franny.
Hi.
Wow.
We love Bob.
So we're going off the air.
All right.
Off the
Those
air.
round 2 elections. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.